Most people live their entire lives asleep, walking, talking, working, eating, but never truly awake. They breathe, but they do not live. They dream, but they do not act. They wait for life to hand them purpose, while those who rise above average forge it with their own two hands. Average isn't a circumstance, it's a decision. And most people have made that decision long before they ever realized it. They surrender their power not in a single moment of defeat, but in 1,000 small choices every day, the snooze button, the excuse, the comfort of the familiar. They trade the gold of their potential for the rust of routine, whispering to themselves, tomorrow, I'll begin. But the great ones, the Edisons, the Fords, the Disneys, the Carnegies, the Jobs, the Hills, they understand a truth that most people never do. You are either growing, or you are decaying. There is no neutral ground. Average is the silent killer of dreams. It's not failure that destroys men, it's comfort. Failure teaches, discomfort refines, but comfort. Comfort lulls the human spirit into a sleep so deep, most never wake from it. Every generation has a few, a small percentage, who refuse to stay asleep. They feel the restlessness of destiny stirring within them. They sense that they were not meant to blend in, but to stand apart. And that feeling terrifies them, because to rise above average means to separate yourself from the herd. But that's where greatness begins, the moment you dare to step away from the ordinary. Think about the word average. It's not an insult, it's a mathematical term. It means the sum of all results divided evenly among the many. And that's the problem. When you live like everyone else, you inherit the same results as everyone else. Look around. Most people drift through life, waiting for permission to act, waiting for motivation to arrive, waiting for the perfect timing that never comes. They chase distraction, not direction. They fill their minds with noise, their calendars with obligations, and their souls with regret. But the greats, the rare few, they live by a different rhythm. While the world sleeps, they are awake. While the crowd complains, they create. While others escape reality, they design it. Henry Ford once said, "Thinking is the hardest work there is," which is probably the reason so few engage in it. He was right. Most people never rise above average because they never take control of the most powerful tool they possess, the mind. The average man lets his thoughts drift like leaves in the wind, carried by circumstance, environment, and emotion. But the great man, he commands his thoughts. He molds them, directs them, and guards them as sacred ground. Napoleon Hill called this definiteness of purpose. Without it, you are a ship without a compass, busy, moving, but lost. Let's be honest. The average life looks normal because it's what most people choose. Wake up tired. Rush through the day. Calm. Purpose is what gives light to the darkest nights. It is the voice that whispers when no one else believes. It is the compass that keeps the great ones moving forward when the road disappears beneath their feet. Without purpose, the strongest man becomes weak. With purpose, the weakest man becomes unstoppable. That's why average people never rise, because they live without direction. They chase pleasure, not purpose. They live to escape, not to expand. But those who rise above average, they don't seek escape. They seek evolution. They know that growth is not supposed to feel comfortable. They understand that discomfort is not a sign of failure, it's a sign of expansion. If you look closely at every great achiever in history, they all share this one trait. They were willing to endure pain for the sake of progress. Edison endured ridicule. Carnegie faced bankruptcy. Lincoln battled depression. Disney was fired and told he lacked imagination. Jobs was thrown out of his own company. But they all came back stronger, because their purpose was bigger than their pain. Average minds break under pressure. Great minds are forged by it. Let me tell you a truth most people refuse to face. Life will test you. It will stretch you, bruise you, humble you. It will make you question everything you thought you knew. And that's exactly what it's supposed to do. Because tests reveal truth. They show you what's real, what's fake, what's strong, what's fragile. They strip away illusions and leave you face to face with yourself. The average man avoids the test. The great man welcomes it, because he knows that struggle is the tuition of greatness. Without resistance, there is no strength. Without failure, there is no wisdom. Without pain, there is no power. Every scar you carry is not proof of weakness, it's a receipt for growth. Most people never rise above average because they never finish what they start. They live in cycles of enthusiasm and exhaustion, inspired one day, indifferent the next. They start projects, but not habits. They set goals, but not standards. They crave success, but lack the endurance to sustain it. But the greats, they understand that success isn't a burst of energy. It's a marathon of discipline. It's showing up when you don't feel like it. It's staying focused when no one's watching. It's doing the boring work long after the excitement has faded. Discipline is what separates desire from destiny. You don't become great because of what you do once, you become great because of what you do consistently. That's why average people talk about potential, while the greats prove it. Consistency is the hidden engine behind every form of mastery. Do you think Edison felt motivated every day through 10,000 experiments? Do you think Carnegie felt certain while building steel empires from nothing? Do you think Hill felt confident when writing Think and Grow Rich after losing everything? No. They felt fear. Fire purifies. It burns away what's weak so that only the strong remains. And that's why life puts you through the heat, not to destroy you, but to refine you. Most people never rise above average because they run from the fire. They spend their entire lives trying to avoid pain, rejection, criticism, and failure, but those are the very things that make you powerful. The greats walk into the fire willingly. They understand that the heat that melts wax will also harden steel. Edison didn't curse the darkness, he invented the light. Lincoln didn't crumble under division, he rebuilt a nation. Hill didn't retreat in the Great Depression, he wrote Think and Grow Rich to teach the world that no external force is greater than the power of the human mind. Greatness is not the absence of struggle. It is the mastery of struggle. The average man prays for an easier life. The great man prays for greater strength. When you look at the world today, distracted, divided, disoriented, it's easy to see why average has become the default. Most people have forgotten how to think, how to imagine, how to dream without doubt. They drown in information but starve for wisdom. They consume inspiration but reject discipline. They want the fruit, but never plant the tree. But you, if you've listened this far, you're not one of them. You're the exception. The one who feels that restless pull deep in your chest. The whisper that says, there's more in me. That whisper is your potential, the divine spark of purpose trying to wake you up. You were not created to be average. You were not born to blend in. You were designed to lead, to create, to expand, to inspire. Everything you need to rise is already inside you, locked beneath fear, buried under habit, waiting to be claimed. But to claim it, you must make a decision, the kind of decision that changes everything. A decision that says, I will no longer settle for mediocrity. I will no longer live as a spectator in my own life. I will no longer betray my potential for the comfort of excuses. Because the day you decide, truly decide, is the day you draw a line between who you've been and who you're becoming. That's the day the old you begins to die, and the new you begins to rise. You want to know what the greats do differently every single day? They command their mornings. They guard their thoughts. They choose their environment. They protect their energy. They feed their minds. They act with purpose. They endure without complaint. And they persist without apology. Every day, they sharpen the blade of discipline. Every day, they build the muscle of belief. Every day, they take one step forward, no matter how small, because they know that consistency beats intensity when intensity fades. They understand that life doesn't reward those who do the most once. It rewards those who do the most often. Average people worship comfort, great people worship growth. Average POP.